Hi everyone, welcome to today's episode of Wealth Wednesdays. I'm Erin Creighton, and I am the Adult Services Department Head and Assistant Branch Manager for the Fredericksburg branch of the Central Rappahannock Regional Library. I get so excited because we missed this one in February that I almost forgot to introduce myself and jumped right to introducing you, Lamont. I am thrilled to be joined by Lamont Brown, as always. Lamont is here today to talk to us about tools for some small business owners, which is, we were talking a little bit before that this is such a pertinent topic. So thank you so much for being here today, Lamont, and for giving us this information.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. This is a topic that is near and dear to my heart. Next slide, please. Most people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. I remember it just like it was yesterday when my fifth grade teacher told me that. And I was like, did she just unlock the code to the world? Is planning? I thought she did, but for most, this is not second nature. Imagine you're building a house. You wouldn't start just throwing bricks together and pulling it all together and hope it all came together. You'd start with a blueprint. For most of us business owners, we focus on one thing, that's growing our top line revenue and increasing our profits and doing those things. And we need to be prepared and planning on how are we going to make this all worth it, because your business is a key part of your overall wealth. Today, I'm going to be talking about 4 principles that are hopefully going to help you to plan your wealth out so that you're not just throwing bricks together. Next slide. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Lamont Brown. I am owner and certified financial planner with Alna Wealth Management, where we focus on helping you build wealth, reduce your taxes, and secure your financial future with confidence. And today, we're going to be talking about a topic that is near and dear to my heart, and that is business owners. But I am one of those systems guys where I like to focus on how do we pull this all together and make it all make sense. Because I can give you a whole bunch of information, and at the end of the day, if it's too much, you're going to just say, I'm done. But I'm hopefully going to pull it together with 4 principles. Next slide. And these 4 principles are really the keys that you have to be looking at. Number 1, think of this like a car. First, you want to have the car's engine working as efficiently as possible, and that's tax efficient wealth building. That means everything is happening as smoothly as possible. Then you want to have a plan for when things don't go right, and that's the risk and liquidity management. That's making sure that you have your emergency, you have your spare, you have your flares, you have all of that, you have your cell phone, all of those things. We're going to talk about that and what that looks like for a business owner. And then you want to plan your exit. When do you get off of this freeway? And then what happens after that? And then you want to also think about the final part of this is when are you going to hand the keys over for the last time? So these are 4 guiding principles. First principle is tax efficient wealth building. Second is you want to be managing your risk and liquidity to make sure that you're not missing anything and you're prepared for those times. And I'm going to talk to you about the times you want to be thinking about specifically. And then you want to think about the exit. This is the old start with the end in mind mindset. You want to be thinking about when is the day where I'm going to say, here are the keys. Thank you very much. I'm ready to go. And then finally, you want to be looking at this last part of this, because this is where a lot of balls get dropped is, hey, I got to this point. I have this money, but now is it going to transfer in the most tax efficient way? Is it going to get to the people I want to have or the institutions I want to have it? That is a lot. But as a business owner, if you focus on these 4 things, there's going to be a very little that's going to get missed. So next slide. So I want to start this with a story. So I was working with this business owner not that long ago. He was running this great running business. I mean, this was great. I mean, I'd walk in, this guy was like on cloud 9. He had his coffee cup. He'd show up every day, and he had 10 to 12 employees, and everything was going fine. And we would talk about everything. And then I asked him one integral question. So how much have you saved so far for yourself in your retirement? And he looked at me. He said, like most business owners do, and we all know what it feels like to be a business owner and have this business humming along. and know that your profit is growing and all those things. He looked at me and he said, hey, I got everything tied up in this business. Well, that's a good plan, but not the plan. You want to make sure that you're integrating all of your business finances with your personal finances and that you're not leaving anything to chance. And unfortunately, what happened to him was his business took a downturn. Well, all of his wealth was tied in his business, and that impacted him in a big way because not only was his business taking an impact, but his personal finances were taking an impact. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you're building wealth in the most tax efficient way, but it starts with integrating your business and your personal life. So if you can save taxes by doing one thing in the business, do it in the business. If you can save taxes by doing it in personal, but don't forget that this is a team effort. Your business and your personal need to work together to get you to that end, because you don't want to struggle with all the things that business owners struggle with to get to the last day and say, you know what, I got nothing to show for it. Or one bad event takes you out and now you're stuck, right? The next thing I see often in business owners, especially after they get through that phase of, am I going to be able to keep the lights on? And then once they answer the question, yes, I can, they completely forget to think about retirement. And it's very easy because it can be complicated, but you need to be thinking about taking advantage of retirement tools that are out there specifically for business owners. You have advantages that others don't have, and taking advantage of those tools is going to be important to integrating your personal and business finances and making sure that if the market turns down or something happens in your situation, you can leave and have something to show for it. Because not all the time do we get to take our whole business and sell our business all in one lump sum and get this big payday. We have to be prepared for the in-betweens and those things that happen that are just not expected. So you want to think about that. And then you want to be looking at it, making sure that you're doing everything to keep and diversify your overall situation. You have business risk and then you have market risk, right? Having two, hopefully both of them are not doing the same thing at the same time, and you're hopefully diversifying and differentiating your income so that at the end of the day, everything's not on the line at the same time. So first things first is make sure that you're building wealth in a tax efficient way. You're integrating your business and personal finances. Next slide. So this is one where a lot of people get tripped up on. And I was working with this group of professionals. It was three of them, and they were humming along. Everything was going fine. And then one of the partners got sick. And not only did he get sick, but he got so sick that he had to eventually leave the business. And he left in a period where they didn't have all their ducks in alignment. So number two is you want to be thinking about the risks that you can face. And I kind of thought about it this way. And I was like, how do I simplify all the risks that we have to think about as business owners? And I hopefully covered them all, but I think I did get them all. So there's death. We know about that one. If I happen to die, what's going to happen to my business? There's disability. Hey, I can't work anymore, but I need to be prepared for who's going to show up and make that sale, or who's going to show up and make sure the lights get turned on and all of those things. So there's death, there's disability, there's divorce, which happens, right? If something happens and the business needs to be split due to divorce or due to just other things happening because of the divorce, that's another one. The next risk you want to look at, and this one is unique, defense. If I have a lawsuit, what's going to happen to my business? And what are my risks? So like with me, I have to carry certain types of insurance and all of those things to protect me, but I want to make sure I'm protected that way. And then you have downturn. This is important. So you want to be prepared for what happens if that contract doesn't get renewed, that goes away, or the market completely shifts away from my business. So let's recap. It's death, disability, divorce, defense, and downturn. And the way you do that is really threefold. First, you want to have a cash flow and liquidity plan. That is making sure that you have enough cash to survive any market downturn or any loss of revenue. For personal reasons, on a personal side, you need to have 3 to 6 months. That is the going rate. That's what we expect on your person. But as a business owner, when you have payroll and all those other things that you have to take care of, and you have ongoing fixed expenses and all of that, you want to have anywhere from 6 to 12 months just sitting dry, right? Above the water line, so that if something happens, you're ready and you don't have to miss a beat, and you have time to really think and develop a strategy that's going to move your business forward in light of whatever challenges you're facing. From there, you want to start thinking about protecting all of your business assets with, I'm going to say it, different types of insurance. Most people don't like that word, but this is a great opportunity for you. So your death can be insured. Disability is one of those things. If you're the sole proprietor and you're running a business and you're the breadwinner in your household or whatever, you have to prepare for the eventuality or possibility that one day you might be hurt and not able to work. And where's your income going to come from? And that's where that disability preparation comes from. And then finally, you want to start thinking about litigation, because as your business grows, you're going to create this target whereby people can come in and you're going to have employees, and there's going to be a lot of risk at place. You want to think about the legal ramifications, but you also want to think about, how do I protect my household? What happens if someone sues me? Can they go after my house? Can they go after my car? Can they go after all these other things, right? So you want to be thinking about, what can I put in place? There are different ways of owning a business where you can actually do that. I'm not going to talk specifically about that, but that is something that you need to talk with your legal professional to talk about, because you need to be prepared for the possibility that you might have to defend something at some point. So death, disability, divorce, defense, and downturn. So downturn is going to be covered by cash flow. Cash is king, and he always will be, right? Next slide, please. So the exit is really where you should be thinking, right? You want to be considering what's going to happen at the end. We've all heard the stories of someone who worked in this business for many years, got to the end, and there was no exit for them. And so now they either have to sell and have these avoidable taxes they have to pay, or they have to sell at a period where the business is down and they're unexpectedly having to sell, or they don't have enough to make ends meet. So because they had to sell at the wrong time in their business cycle, they don't have enough to sell and just go away. So you want to be thinking about that off ramp. What does that look like? How do I make it the most tax efficient? Because if you take all the money in 1 year, well, there's going to be taxes associated with that. You take it over time, is that going to be better? Or is that going to allow you to achieve your long-term goals? So you want to be thinking about that exit when you're going into your business planning. You want to be thinking about that exit from now going forward. When do I want to exit? What do I think I need at the end of the day? And that is simple financial planning. Okay, if I need $80,000 a year to live off of after taxes, what does my business need to be worth in order for me to make that happen? And then you have to think about all of the things that you're going to have to do to make sure that's taken care of. So exit and post-sale planning is a very, very important part of that fourplex that we talked about earlier. Tax efficient growth, we want to protect against risk, and we also want to be thinking about the exit. I know it's counterproductive, but you have to be thinking about this, because a business is not like a job where you just walk away one day and everything happens. And it doesn't even happen in a job, but a business has a lot of moving parts, employees and all the other things that come with that. And you want to be thinking about that from start. So, and the reason why you're doing that is to prevent unavoidable taxes, taxes that you can completely avoid having to pay. Having to sell all in one year, that could be changed, right? And you don't want to have to sell unexpectedly, due to death, disability, or any of those things, or downturn. And then you want to make sure that when you actually are selling, that at the end of the day, you get what you need in order to be able to ride off into the sunset and not have to consider going back to work at any point. Because being in business is a tough thing and you want to be rewarded for that. And this is part of that. Next slide. And we've all seen this on both the personal side and on the business side. Person builds a business, sells a business, has all this wealth, and at the end of the day, they don't have a plan for what happens. As a business owner, this is continuous. So you should have an estate plan while you're operating your business. You should have an estate plan for after your business is sold. And you should be thinking about, how am I going to tax efficiently transfer this to that next generation? Or how am I going to protect that next generation of those people left behind? So you want to be thinking about all of those things. And I think it's more important for business owners because you have other people's lives depending on you. I've seen it and everyone else has seen it. Someone who passes away unexpectedly and the business goes into disrepair and employees are no longer employed because of that. You don't want to leave those undone, right? You want to make sure that you have a plan that's consistent with your wishes, and you want to have it while you're operating your business and even after your business days are done, because this is an important part of ensuring that you can turn this business into the wealth that you deserve from all of the hard work that you've been through. So up to this point, we've talked about 4 principles. Number 1 is tax efficient growth and building of wealth. Number 2 is reducing the risk and the taxes associated with the growth of that business. Number 3 is ensuring that you you have an exit plan. Number 4 is having that wealth transfer and legacy planning, right? So you want to make sure that if you forget what you're supposed to say next, that you at least have some protections there. And I have paper, but I jest. But next slide, please. This quote right here says it all to me. You can't connect the dots looking forward. You can only connect them looking backwards. So you have to trust that the dots will somehow connect in your future. Steve Jobs. Like Steve Jobs a lot, but this really points to the fact that you have to trust that everything you're doing today is going to benefit you later on in the future. By thinking about it in these principles, you're going to be connecting those dots, even though you don't see what the outcome is going to be. By having tax efficient wealth building and making sure you're protecting your risk and having an exit plan and thinking about your estate and all those things are going to put you in a better place. So if something happens, that you're prepared and that you're also in the process of building wealth from your business, because it's hard out there building a business and taking care of people and taking care of yourself and all those things. But you as a business owner have an extra level of responsibility to make sure that you're putting in place these things to protect your business and the people that depend on it. So I'm going to open it up for questions now. I know that was quick, but I wanted to make sure we covered this whole system for you guys today.
No, that was fantastic. While we wait to see if we get questions, I'm just going to put it back on your contact information in case people do have questions later on, they want to reach out to you. I thought it was so important how you talked about the what you want to happen to your business afterwards, because I had a friend of mine in Florida who had an amazing landscaping business and did not have an exit strategy. And when they went to go sell, they really had no idea, because they had built up such a huge client roster and they had all this really expensive equipment. It really took them a long time, and it tied up all that money for way past the point that they thought they would do. So having an exit strategy, it's, that advanced planning stuff really matters.
It does. And I would say you should be thinking about how you're going to exit even before you're in that 3 to 5 year window. You should be looking at that now because it's going to determine who's going to be a great purchaser of your business, what kind of opportunities you could be looking for, and then you can also start to groom if your intent is to transfer it to someone else. Like I have 2 sons, and I'm already starting to work them into it. Like, come on, let's do this, and they're like, "No, Dad, I don't want to do that." So that's yet to be determined, but you want to start thinking about that early and working on that plan for
Of
later.
course. And
Yeah,
I also thought that was really interesting. I'd never heard that part about, I knew that for myself as an individual who is not a business owner, having 3 to 6 months of, a cushion is like the rule of thumb, right? But I didn't
yeah.
realize for a business owner, it's double that basically. It's 6 to 12 months.
I think, and for me, it's more of a function of the amount of things that you have going on and how many people's lives are possibly at risk. And you want to make sure that you can withstand a downturn plus loss of employees plus all these other things and still make payroll well into the future.
Those 5 Ds that you have to be prepared for.
Yeah, I was downturn. There we go. I got them all right. Death, disability, divorce, defense. That one was a reach. I was like, I'm gonna reach on this one, but
No, it was good though. All right. Well, it doesn't look like we have any questions at the moment. I linked to your website and your contact information is here. Thank you so much. Next month, do you want to give people a little preview? Because I know you're coming back in April to talk about, what was it again?
It is retirement income.
I'm so excited for this one.
About retirement income and how to build that lasting retirement income. This is a topic that it gets overlooked until it can't be overlooked anymore. So
exactly.
You want to tune in for that. The other thing is on March 25th, I will be at the town center. So
that's right, for our Civic Lab. We should give a plug for that. We are doing Civic Lab right now about financial literacy, and Lamont has been coming out to some of the branches, and so come join us at the town center branch on the 25th. It's on our website, and get to meet Lamont in person and get some hands-on knowledge from him.
Yep, you can bring your questions, bring your happy smiles, all of the above. I'm there for it. So
that sounds so excellent. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Until I see you next time, have a great rest of your day, and thank you everybody for watching.
See y'all later.